Okay, so what is the point of this actual podcast? And here's the thing, it's already messed up because I had to put the charger in, and it's the first time I ever put the charger in the camera as I'm filming, and I realized that it goes right in front of the viewfinder, but not the lens, thankfully. But yeah, right in front of the viewfinder, but that's okay. New mic is the number one priority because this mic is shitty, and I've just realized that my old condenser mic is just not doing it. The last podcast was absolutely terrible, but this one will be better. Obviously, the lighting, yeah, is not good. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know what to do about the lighting. You don't get to see my shirt, but it's zoomed in on my face enough. And so, yeah, more posters will go up right here. I'm thinking of putting something there to make it look better. Actually, I could put lights like this around my room. But yeah, I'm in college right now doing my master's. That's why this all looks like this. Um, yeah, let's see. What is there to talk about? More work, a lot of reading. I'm doing a lot of reading in my master's program right now, which I did not come here to do. I came here to produce music, and I did not come here to read and write. Not that that's like a problem, like I can't do it, but still, not what I want to do. Number two, the bank account. I finally got my bank account set up. My HSBC bank account finally got it set up. Man, the to get that bank account, and well, it was terrible, absolutely terrible. I had to like literally argue with a teacher to get it. Argue with a teacher to get it. I want that on record. I want to remember I had to literally argue with this person that works there. I assume she's not a teacher, obviously. She's a front desk, or she's actually the director of the financial aid. I don't know. But I literally had to have an argument with the lady who's in food. Like, okay, so the problem was that I needed a proof of address, and she didn't want to give it to me. And then she finally said, well, we can't give it to you now because it takes 10 days. I was like, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Had a screaming match. Literally, this is a woman that works at the school. Had a screaming match with her. And then she said, well, if you're not going to listen to me, I'm going to hang up. This is like the woman who works in the play. I'm calling for help. And we get into an argument so much that she goes, if you keep arguing with me and speaking over me, I'm gonna hang up on you. And this low key sounded like a threat, which I didn't mean to sound like, but it's true. I said, I'm a student. If you hang up on me, I'm just gonna show up and ask you in person. Would like, which sounds crazy now saying it, but that's what I did say, and kind of sounded like a threat, but still, it was like literally like you can't. I need help. I need help with because the school helps international students make a bank account, and so I was like, I need help doing this. It just wasn't working. It was a whole thing, literally a screaming match with whoever was on the phone. I was on the phone with. Yeah, all I know is that it sounded like a woman. I don't know, but yeah, she was like, "I'm gonna hang." She's talking to me, a student. I'm gonna hang up on you if you keep, talking over me. Because I was like, I mean, I was getting, I was yelling a little bit, but man, that was such a crazy moment. I was like, "Are you serious? You can't hang. I'm a student. I'm just gonna go up to you and talk to you in person." But yeah, so that was crazy. I got a new SIM card. That's good. Um, and I'm ordering a new phone on Amazon because it's cheaper than getting a plan. Getting a SIM card and ordering a phone on Amazon is cheaper than actually getting a plan and paying $70 a month, which is horrible to do. Don't feel like doing it. Thankfully, data over here is much cheaper in the UK. Data in the UK is much cheaper. In the States, I don't know how much getting a new phone plus a SIM card would take. I mean, I think it would be cheaper. See, that's the thing. The US, they make it cheaper to get plans and more expensive to be solo because they want you dependent on the plan. Over here in the EU, you could just get a SIM card really cheap, like 30 a month for unlimited talk, text, and web and whatever. And then you download WhatsApp to call abroad, and that's pretty much all you need. But over in the States, it's like they literally make it more expensive. They want you on a plan. You know what I mean? They want you on Verizon. They want you like connected to a plan. So yeah, over here. But man, I went to get a phone, and they're like, we need a proof of address, right? We need your passport, and we need your bank account card. And at the time, I didn't have. I mean, at the time, I didn't have my proof of address with me. I didn't have my passport with me, and so I went home. I was like, I don't feel like going back to them. I'm just gonna go buy a phone. So I bought a SIM card and a phone, and that was it. And now, hopefully, that'll work. My old phone is here, S20. I've had it for over 5 years. This is the second one. Obviously, I've broken it. No one can have a phone for that long without breaking it. But they had a replacement plan, I guess, for Verizon. I think that's what happened. But yeah, I've had it for years, and so I'm finally gonna get an S24, not S25. I don't need one. I have a camera, so I don't actually need that fancy stuff. So yeah, um, yeah, that's all the complications I've had. Second thing I want to talk about is the pizza. The pizza over here in the UK kind of sucks, but there's no but actually. I just have to deal with it. Yeah, it's not good. At least not over here in Brighton. So I don't know. What did I want to say about? Okay, so that aside, the little things aside, here's the important thing: is that Tron Ares came out and did terribly, like I knew it was going to. But let me say this about Tron Ares. All right, it has Jared Leto in it, and that was all I needed to know, that it would be shit and not be good. That's all I need to know, because there is no movie with his bland acting ass and sex cult personality. Yeah, or not even personality, just that is him. He's not a good actor. He's an okay musician. His friends make music with him much better than he does, and he's terrible. And I knew Tron Ares was going to be terrible. Okay, the fact that and here's another thing: the premise itself. Tron Ares, the premise itself. And yes, I'm talking about this movie by only watching half of it on a streaming website. I think I might go in person and see it, because the visual effects I do think look good. But here's the premise alone, which I didn't realize even it was, is that they're doing the reverse. They're taking Tron and bring it into the real world, when they brought the real world before into Tron the last two times, right? And I think at the end of the second Tron, I think something like a guy pops out in the end. I forgot who it was. He pops into the real world, like follows him through back to the video game. I think, if that's what happened, but that's what they're doing, and that's a shit premise. That is an absolutely dog shit premise to make a Tron movie about. We don't want that. We want Tron World, and they brought the world into Tron, or they brought Tron into the real world. I don't know why they did that. I think, and well, I'll get into that in a second, but I think Tron Ares was just trying to do something way different. If only they went deeper into the Tron world itself. You know what I mean? And that's what I think these movies should do. Stop bringing these properties into the real world and start building like depth in their world. I would love to have them to have seen Tron Ares be a deep dive into Tron. Excuse me, literally. A deep dive into the world of Tron. Fuck the real world. It's the same thing Assassin's Creed does, okay? It's the same thing. Like, stop bringing us out the world. We don't care about the real world. We don't care about the implications, anything. Tron, like, leave it as video game. Let the stakes just purely be, he needs to do this or he can't get out the game. That's all we need. But no, they have to bring it into the real world, which we don't need. We don't need, and of course, me saying that, you could just predict what the actual point of the movie was. The point of the movie was he wants to, Tron, their technology obviously is better than ours, but it's in a video game. So he figured out a way to bring the technology here to take over the world because it's more advanced. And it's like, we didn't need this. We did not need Jared Leto as a Tron character with his friends taking over, not literally his friends. I just mean in the movie, the character's friends taking over the real world. Someone just coughed outside. It's okay. Taking over the real world. We didn't need that. We needed more depth into him taking over the Tron world and a good guy trying to save that. And we don't need another eh, huge ball drop on that one. Huge ball drop. I don't understand. It's like they don't actually like Tron in this movie. Again, from the half I've seen, it's like they don't actually. They come outside, and there are a few scenes so far in Tron in the actual video game, but nah, taking out the video game was absolutely the worst part of this whole thing, which I didn't even realize really was the point of it. I did see in the trailers he was riding that bike in the real world, and I thought, okay, this is like a last stage movie thing where he finally made it, and then they got to bring it back. It's like the third act, but no, it's not the third act. It's like last of this first act. They come into the world, which sucks, I guess. I don't know what to say about that. Another movie news, I guess, is that a lot of people are having problems with the Supergirl movie that is not coming out. I don't even know if it's coming out soon, but it's just the next thing they're working on is the Supergirl movie. A lot of people had a problem with the way she popped out in the last Superman movie and about how apparently she was drunk on some planet, you know what I mean? Or whatever, crashed out on some planet and came back into his ice layer. And then, what everyone in the ice layer was like, no. What am I talking about? The robots and Superman himself as she came in were kind of like, oh, look at you drunk again. Like, obviously, she does this a lot. And a lot of people had a problem with it. Now, personally, I don't care. But I also don't watch Supergirl. I'm like very indifferent about Supergirl. I don't watch the new her and Brainiac. I've seen clips, but I don't watch it. So I'm very indifferent about Supergirl. When they announced that she was the next movie, I just kind of was like, you know what I mean? Like a me like what's that thing in the hospital where it's like be well no, that means I died. No, I just mean it just went boop 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 like I didn't care basically. It didn't move the needle for me. I was just like, all right, well, that's the next one. Am I gonna see it? Probably. I don't know. I don't care enough. But a lot of people really care about her being a blonde woman, getting drunk, and being kind of like that, like I don't know, tropey like drunk type, I guess. They don't like it. Um which is fine, You don't have to like everything. But my thing is this like if you make a Superman movie and the next thing they announce is a Supergirl movie, in my head, even though I don't care about Supergirl, I'm like, okay, it's world building. So it's not like they said, okay, we're doing a Superman movie and next we're going to do I don't know, pick a superhero kind of adjacent to Superman that doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? At least they're world building. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, you know, Supergirl movie next. Not what I would have chosen, but not because I don't like it, but just because I don't know, I don't watch Supergirl, so I would have probably chosen like. I mean, to be honest, if they asked me, I would have been like, make a new Batman movie. If you're not going to bring in Robert Pattinson, go ahead, make a new Batman movie. That's what I would have said. Or I don't know, a Brainiac movie. Speaking of Brainiac, that would be cool, or make a. I'm trying to think of I know superheroes, but I'm trying to think of a superhero connected to Superman to make a movie about. Oh wow, I'm really having trouble. Um, um, the 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 pack of superpowered teenagers or whatever, goth kids. Oh man, I don't know. I don't care about Superman enough. I don't care about Superman enough. He's cool in himself. Well, no, I'm honestly wait. Let me think. There's got to be a superhero to go against Superman. That's like a supervillain. That's I mean, Doomsday. They've done Doomsday. um, hmm, they can't do evil Superman. Already did that in this one. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. A good Superman villain. Who's a Supergirl villain? Who's she gonna fight? That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? These are all great questions. Honestly, once learned that they're not doing Batman, kind of just was like, hey, it is what it is. With Superman, I'm very indifferent. I'm like, hey, whatever you want to make with Superman, go ahead. I could care less. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Just make sure that the casting of uh John, Martian Manhunter is a black guy. That's all I care about. Okay? That's all I care about. Okay? Make if the closer they get to Justice League Unlimited, I'm happier. As long as they get close to Justice League Unlimited, I'm happy with that. Okay? What's his name? Gold guy, the golden guy. Uh just he's borderline too annoying for me. What's his name? The gold guy from man, he's got the little robot with him. Gold superhero from JLA. Oh man, what is his name? Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of my favorite, also, but also hated superheroes. Because every time I see him, every time I even read him and Animal Man are like on the same. I just thought about that. Him and Animal Man are like on the same tier for me. They're like a little. They're like on the edge of being too. Deadpool's too annoying for me. So think about it like that. I think Deadpool's too annoying. So that's where I'm at on the level of annoyance with these types of superheroes. These like quippy, I don't know, annoying ass superheroes. He's right there. He's right there. In the comics, he's okay. Um, in the show, again borderline. He's just okay. Um, yeah, let me see a Superman villains. Spelled Superman wrong, but that's okay. Super Dan, I put. Um, no, sorry, Super Nam. I put Vietnam, Superman in Vietnam, Super Nam. Brainiac, like I said, Doomsday, Mister Mixelpix. I guess that could be. I guess I don't know. He seems more like a guy that would come. I don't know, out of nowhere. Yeah, I don't know. He seems like a side character in a good movie, right? Yeah, and see, all these people suck. All these people suck. I think Maxwell Lord is who I was talking about when I said superpowered edgy teens. What is it? Yeah, I think so. No, he's not who I'm talking about. All right. Anti Monitor? Wow. A Superman movie with Anti Monitor in the same style we saw of the first one, James Gunn's one that just came out, would be very interesting. I'd love to see what he looked like. Yeah, the Anti Monitor would be cool. Manchester Black would be a good, I guess, again, a side. I can't think of any, like Lobo. All these are like side, there's no main person. We need a main. They already got done with Lex Luthor, okay, and I hope they don't bring him back. We can move on. We don't have to do the Marvel thing where every Marvel villain is kind of associated with every other Marvel villain, and they could just pop out at any time. I think the only Marvel movies that centered on one villain anyway was Ant Man. That was just because they didn't want to waste people on Ant Man. But those movies, God, that first Ant Man movie killed me. I hated it. Annoying. It's too annoying. Yeah, I can't find any of these. Brainiac is the only one I can see having a full good movie. Parasite again. He can come up, but he needs someone needs to probably implement Parasite. Like he on his own can't be a whole movie. General Zod, I don't know. General Zod creates Bizarro. Well, they already did Bizarro. I don't know. General Zod meets up with Lobo, sends Lobo to kill Superman, and then what fails? I guess, even though yeah, I guess he fails, and then Superman follows Lobo back up to the sky, and it turns out like General Zod is there. Yeah, I'm a writer. I don't know. I'm low key a writer. Okay, it is what it is. Live Wire. Okay, these are the edgy teens I was talking about. Live Wire. Yeah, yeah. This is what I was talking about. This girl, ice powers, I guess. Now, could she be an old movie? No. Again, the Superman is a team up villain movie. There's no like Batman. There's very little movies, even in the shows, where a villain doesn't team up to take them down. There are a few Batman villains that could do it by themselves, right? And even the few that do it by themselves use other villains, like Hush. Hush uses other villains to get in Batman's way, right? So there are very few. I guess Joker could be a whole. Obviously we've done that. Yeah, we've done that too many times. Joker in a Superman movie, that would be interesting. Okay, there's a whole mystery about why Superman is dying, and somehow Joker's connected to it. Okay, throw us a curveball. Why not? They're both DC. People act like Joker can't interact with Batman. I mean, with Superman unless Batman's there, which I guess is kind of true. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, so that people are mad at that. I'm not too mad at it. I don't really. Again, I did the Superwoman discourse and them not liking her or what for whatever reason is just I don't know. It's just okay. I don't really care too much about it. Um let's see. Yeah, well they're saying they're saying it's gonna be like Guardians of the Galaxy, right? And here's the thing. He's the same director. So that's like me saying this movie's like the other director's movie. It's what it is what it is. That's how he makes movies. The team up kind of quippy. I don't know. That's what you expect. Maybe I just expect nonsense in my life. Maybe I'm used to it. Maybe I I don't know. Maybe I'm at the age where like so many bad movies have come out and I've been let down by so many movies and video games. I'm like, yeah, yeah, that tracks. Like, yeah, they would do that. Yeah, and just kind of accept it, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Now, what was I gonna say? So yeah, that's my movie news. I would say is that Tron Ares is bad, and the new Superman. I guess they're mad at Superwoman. I think I saw something online that was like disappointed that she's not Sydney Sweeney, and I was like, you're disappointed that she's already in Marvel. She's already in the Spider Woman movie, which was terrible, and most people forgot. So like these people just being like, "Oh, I'm mad they didn't get." It's like, bro, you don't know why they didn't cast this person or why they did cast this. Casting. You need to let go of casting people. Okay, you can't. At this point, you know what they cast for. You know what this is. You know what I mean? Like, who's sitting around being like, "I can't believe they cast this person and this person." Like, dude, we know. We know they cast terrible. Sometimes castings are perfect, sometimes they're terrible. Okay, I think Thunderbolts was a real like miss, but not because I don't like any of those people. It's just they never connected with me that they were these characters. So that happens a lot. Yeah, so that's all I have for movie news. I guess I don't know whatever that's called. Whatever that's called. Now, I am going to talk about this real quick. Uh, Joe, no, I don't feel like bringing up Joe Rogan. I'm looking at topics and stuff I had, but I don't feel like talking about Joe Rogan. Hold on, someone's texting me. Um, yeah, okay, a group chat that has nothing to do with the podcast, of course. And then it's funny. Now I use WhatsApp, right? And I think right when you open it, it says that you read it. So maybe I need to just stop opening it and just look at it. Also, I hope that people can't see the name you put for them on WhatsApp because have forgotten people's names and just said classmate. So I hope they don't see classmate. I don't know what they would see actually. Now that I just said that, I don't know what they would see at all, except my name, I guess, right? I don't know, but yeah, I hope they don't. Hope they don't see it. What was I gonna talk about? I don't remember. It's cold, man. It's getting cold over here. I need a jacket. I need to actually like make moves to be warm now. Like I'm not used to that. Um, Steve Ballmer and the Clippers. Oh, excuse me. Don't mean to just change topics like this, but I am. I don't know. It came up. Steve Ballmer and the Clippers. Now, personally, this is a long thing, but Steve Ballmer basically Steve Ballmer is the what third richest man in the world, the fourth richest man in the world. I repeat, not just out of the NBA team owners, but he is an NBA team owner. He owns the Los Angeles Clippers or the LA Clippers. Um, the terrible name, I've always thought, terrible logo. But whatever, you would think the richest man in the world would make a better logo, but I guess not. I know what a clipper is. It's a boat that used to be on the shores of California with the Spanish. I got the history. I don't care. Now, Steve Ballmer basically is accused of circumventing, going around, the NBA salary cap to pay Kawhi Leonard more, right? He did that by setting up a fake, or they're saying he did it by setting up a fake company. And no, he doesn't watch this. He probably did do it. No one's watching this, but he did it by basically setting up a fake company that promises, quote unquote. We haven't even seen these trees, by the way. That promises to offset carbon emissions from companies and whoever is building things by planting trees somewhere. We've never seen the trees, right? That's a whole nother thing, whether a company even grows the trees, right? But basically, through this company, they brought in Kawhi Leonard to be a spokesperson for it, an advertisement for it, and a couple other famous people that just do advertisements for them, right? And through those famous people's companies, they use the company to grow trees for whatever they're building, right? By the way, that one guy is building a hotel in Israel, which is pretty crazy. What's his name from the bear eating movie and a bunch of stuff. Uh, damn, what's his name? The guy from Wolf of Wall Street. What's that dude's name? He's building a hotel in Israel, so that's a whole thing too. And I think he's connected, and he was connected to the company, so that's crazy. And unneeded. And by the way, if you're one of those people that listens to any of these comedians that went to the Riyadh Comedy Festival, number one, these people are the most unfunny losers you could ever listen to anyway. Okay, so whether you were listening to Bill Burr or, again, pick a loser that went there, they're terrible comedians anyway, right? And I think you're a loser for even looking at comedy in general. To be real with you, I can't stand up. I don't know how people do it. I think it's cringy, and I think they all suck. I have found very little. Who's that guy that I found? Who's that guy? He did his special. He does his specials in black and white. Um, oh, Anthony Jeselnik. No, not Anthony Jeselnik, but he is slightly funny. Slightly funny. Slightly funny. That just came out of nowhere. But yeah, he's slightly funny to me. But the guy I'm talking about is, let me see it. There's no way I'm gonna. I think the only way this would come up is if Netflix remembered who I liked. And I know the sound keeps coming up, but um, yeah, it's gonna be hard. Yeah, it's not gonna find it. But there's this one guy I like who uh did one. Honestly, let me see if I can find it just to put his just to remember his name. Damn, I forgot. Whatever. Comedy sucks. Okay, I'm surprised Bert Kreischer didn't go. I really am because he is like, oof. He is really, really bad, really, really bad. And if you enjoy Bert Kreischer, that's like a problem, honestly. Like because he's one of these people that just has nothing to offer but nonsense, right? And like I said, I expect nonsense, but man, he is one of these people, these comedians, that just has nothing to offer, literally nothing, except drinking and taking his shirt off and being unfunny on podcasts. But yeah, Jeff Dye is another one who apparently is uh, friends with the person who owns another basketball team. Just if you don't know who he is, Jeff Dye is a Jeff Dye, another terrible person. My God, these people. Point is, the Riyadh Comedy Festival is terrible. What was I talking about? Um, okay, yeah, Steve Ballmer circumvented the thing, and what I was gonna say is that I predict there will be zero repercussions for any of this. That's what I think. I think they've done an investigation in the NBA. They found out he did, and there'll be no repercussions for him. There'll be nothing. He might silently step down in a year or two because of whatever. They'll say some lies. So, but yeah, I think there will be zero consequences for him, and no one will care that he did. I mean, people will care, but nothing will happen to him. So yeah, don't get your hopes up with that whole thing. And I know those podcasts. What's his name? Pablo Torre finds out. Those are great. Not nothing against him. Those are great. I love watching them, but I just have a feeling that this not all this one. And here's the thing: I'm not saying it will be swept under the rug, but it will just fade away. That's what it will literally. It will just fade away. Okay, Cyberpunk 2077. It'll just fade away. Okay. Excuse me. Wow, my breath. Maybe I should take a drink of water. I have so little water left here. I need to go to a store when I get coffee and get some water. Hopefully they restocked because the school is so small that they don't have a big store. And they literally run out of water, but they don't run out of sparkling. So, and I don't feel like having sparkling. If I have to, I have to. But yeah, actually, I haven't had sparkling water in a while. So, maybe. Um, Other than that, going back to the comedy people, I'm very glad to see these comedians kind of get what they got coming to them from their fans because I've seen, a lot of these people. I'm forgetting that dude's name, that the Southern guy who's been lying about, his like dad being old and stuff. What's his name? Damn, I forgot his name. But yeah, he's just like, he's a Southern dude that like lied about his whole past and stuff. Um, Damn, what's that dude's name? Uh, he's from the South. From the Southern comedian. The big podcast, big pod. Guys, what's this dude's name? No, no, no. Okay, I'm not gonna know. And no, yeah, I don't know, but he's like this. But he's huge. He's huge. He's got like I don't know a lot of money coming in from it. But he used to be on Road Rules, but yeah, if you don't know what that is, I'm too old. But basically, finally, him and a bunch of these other comedians are finally getting not even like repercussions, just a little bit of pushback from the pure like bullshit they were spewing years back, right? Not even. And what's funny is they didn't even start doing this for they ramped it up for Trump, but this was going on even in the Biden era. They were just like endlessly pushing the it started off as them pushing the men versus women like not sub thing that was going on, but like the men versus women like manoverse stuff. They were pushing that a little bit. They're pushing like just bad comedy in general, but also like hurtful comedy. And then when people would be like, "Hey, this comedy kind of sucks and like doesn't even make sense, really," they were like, "No," they were like, "Keep going, keep pushing it." Um, yeah, they were doing that with Biden, but then Trump came along and it just got real bad. And oh, Theo Vaughn, who I was talking about, Theo Vaughn, yeah, Theo Vaughn's a liar. He lied about his whole past. His dad wasn't old. It's a whole thing, but they're finally getting just a taste of people being like, hey, now that Trump has been here, we've seen that like most of this is a lie and he's actually doing terrible things. What do you have to say for yourself? And they don't know what to say. They literally don't know what to say. So, hey, good on like the 10 people that pushed back, but obviously not enough have gone into it, or not enough have even, not enough people will ever realize how much they lied to them. Like, most people will just fade away. That's the thing. They won't get pushed back. Like, it's like how I used to listen to uh it's like how I used to listen to, oh man, with Brennan Schaub and Brian, what's his name? Whatever, Brian Callen. I didn't like start hating them or like comment. I literally just stopped watching. And that's what most people are going to have. That's what most people are going to do. They won't, like, the pushback will come from few people, but most people will get to a point in their lives where they just don't watch. They just simply, don't click on the video anymore. They won't comment. They won't go on Instagram. Most people will just simply fade away, which hopefully starts to happen more and more. Um, but yeah, these views, and it's funny because when you look at like the views of these big podcasts, you would think that they would keep going up, but they pretty much, if you look at them, stay at like 300, 400,000 people, which is a lot. But when you see that growth, that at one point, what's that show called? Flagrant was getting like 1 million views an episode, which is getting crazy, crazy views. So even though they're getting a lot of views, it is down. So that's something that's interesting. Um, what else? I would say, yeah, I'm glad that's happening. But the other thing I was going to talk about actually was uh, 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 so the Alec Baldwin. So years ago, Alec Baldwin got in trouble or got arrested for accidentally shooting someone on set. This woman, right? Now, obviously, that sounds crazy, but Alec Baldwin didn't like bring a real gun into a movie set. He accidentally killed a woman with a set piece, basically, that he just was supposed to shoot her with. He actually shot her, right? The A set assistant, years after, is finally getting some, uh or did get some, a ruling or something, and it turned out, I think, this to all be an accident. And so here, let me see. I think Alec Baldwin was shown to be, yeah. So it was ruled an accident, and it's all over. And I remember so many people, and this was a thing, right? And also, he's also, the reason he came up is because he came up in the news that he was in a head-on crash with a tree. He's fine, but yeah, yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy. But I never forget that whole thing when Alec Baldwin shot that woman. That there are so many people saying that he should go to prison and that it was his fault. And now you should never handle a gun as a. I'm like, and I really struggled with that, to think that. So you guys really don't understand that an actor walks up to a set and picks up a fake gun. Like, there were people really into so much. Like, I genuinely thought, like, some of these people really thought like he brought his own gun and like shot somebody, but it was a prop. Like, it is 100% on the person in charge of the props. And it's just so odd to me that people were like, nah, it's him, it's his fault, he needs to go to jail for this. It's like, what are you saying? You know that but it was like, it was almost like a litmus test of like, are you stupid or not? That's really how I felt about that. Very strange. I will never ever forget that. I will never, that whole thing, the discourse with that online will always baffle me. People legitimately being like, nah, he should go to jail forever for this. I'm like, he didn't show up with his own thing, right? Like, someone gave him that and they said, action, and he did his acting, and someone got hurt, or and passed away and died, unfortunately. But like, that's not his fault. And I really want people back then to walk in an actor's shoes, like, just for a second, and think, okay, let's say you're an actor and you show up to set and someone gives you a prop gun. Like that's how fast, that's how far it was gone back then. But I guess no one cared. No one cared anymore because, yeah, it was ruled an accident. So, but of course, all those people would not be coming out being like, you know, whatever. So, what else? I would say in terms of news stuff, the only other thing would be the Drake lawsuit being dropped. That really makes me happy. That really makes me happy because like this whole Drake thing and Drake actually suing, I said from the beginning is such a weak he's so weak. He's a weak person, a weak man. And I will not forget this time ever. Drake filed a lawsuit against Kendrick saying for defamation, right? And saying, and also in that said, I don't know if this is exactly what he sued for because when you look it up, the defamation case was dropped, right? And that, apparently that's the only case going on. So his whole thing is gone, right? But initially, I had also seen that he was suing for. I guess he isn't now, but initially I did see he was suing for suing UMG because he thought they were using bots to accelerate and push Kendrick's song over his in the beef, right? Or not even over, just they were doing it at all to him. And but I guess not. I don't know where that went. But basically, the defamation case the other day was officially dropped. And the amount of people online, the amount of people online saying to themselves that it's bullshit, that it doesn't make any sense, that how could they drop it when that was all lies and this and that. It's so funny because every step of the way, these people who love Drake were fully backed and made no sense. And I said, number one, this is a bitch move, okay, to put a lawsuit out on Kendrick because you are losing a rap battle, right? That's number one. Number two, there was no way from the very beginning that Kendrick was going to lose that lawsuit and have to pay him $3 billion, $1 billion, or $1. There was no way. And I said it from the beginning. I would write that on Twitter. I would write that on Instagram, and my Twitter got deleted, so don't look it up. I mean, you can look it up. It'll be gone. But yeah, my Dakota Rain Twitter's gone, so I don't have Twitter anymore. But I said Drake is losing that. He will never get a penny from Kendrick. It is over. Nothing will happen. Nothing. And every step of the way, Drake fans would just continue lying and continue saying, no, this will happen next. When the lawsuit went for, when they first pushed the lawsuit, number one, putting a lawsuit out against someone you're losing a battle with is a bitch move. They said, no, no, no. It's because it's lies. It's really lies. So, you can't just go around calling someone a pedophile. That's really a lie. You can't do that. This is past beef. This is past beef. Lawsuit changed after that. Okay. Then the wording changed, and then they redid another lawsuit, right? And then people were like, well, they have to because he knew UMG wouldn't go for that, or he gave go this and that. Every step of the way, Drake fans, whatever happened in the news, whatever happened to Drake, whatever happened to the lawsuit, if as it changed, their opinions would change. As they change, their opinions would change just magically. Okay, whether it was pick anything that happened to it. Literally, pick anything that happened to it, and their minds changed. Their minds just were like, "Yep, yeah, no, I think that's what happened. Yeah, yeah, no, I think that's gonna happen." And now, okay, you get stupid people like Maul from Roy and Maul podcast, which by the way, Rory having no backbone and Maul being as obsessive as he is, just in general, is why I don't watch that podcast anymore. When they first dropped, I'll get back to Drake, but when they first left Joe Budden, I was like all in. I was all in. But seeing how Roy really, it's two things. It's Roy not letting it's Roy letting everything go in a way of like, because I know what's happening, right? Roy doesn't want to constantly argue with his co-host. That's what it is. But in doing that, he makes everything. He just lets everything go, and it's so annoying to listen to. I don't like Roy. Just like it seems like you know what it is. It seems like Roy holds back a little bit every time he talks. Every time Roy talks, it feels like there's just a little bit of something he's not telling you, or he doesn't want to say with Maul around, or he doesn't even want to say with the woman in front of her. I forget her name. I'm sorry. Um, he doesn't want to say it, right? And it's so annoying. He's got maybe it's just his personality. Maybe it's just because me, I like saying whatever I want. Like even now, who knows left or right, who's listening to me? Maybe I just don't care enough, right? Maybe I need to care more. I don't know. But to me, it feels like every time he talks about a subject, there's like a little bit that he's not quite saying. You know what I mean? There's a little bit that he's like skirting around. And I think a lot of that has to do with how bad Maul is as a podcaster because he doesn't let anything go. He simply doesn't let anything go, and it's personal, right? He doesn't let anything go as in like each topic to him is so personal, right? And he's also has this thing, the same thing Flip has from Joe Budden, from the Joe Budden podcast. He thinks he's really from the streets, right? But he's never taken a risk. He's never taken a risk. No, he's not from the streets, right? He's from the streets like I'm fucking from the streets, where I knew friends and had friends of friends that were doing some dirt, but I grew up in a nice place. Or, like, I don't know, an apartment, nice. But he's associated with people who are on the streets. That's something, right? Like Jay-Z, associated with people on the streets, but you never did shit yourself. That's Maul. Maul is that guy that is around and was around. He was around Rockefeller. He was around. He's around OVO, but he's not the main guy. He's never been in the shits. Okay, just like pick another. I can't even think of that, but there are these people, these podcasters that say they're with the shits, but they've never actually been there really. They've been around, they've had friends, they know stories, they know inside stuff, right? And here's the thing, everyone has friends. So it's someone really doing dirt has a friend, right? They have a friend. I have friends that sold weed on Venice Beach. Okay, I have friends that would roll around doing fast food deliveries like Uber Eats and stuff, and also sell weed on the side. I knew stories, crazy stories about people getting robbed. Guess what? I never did that myself, but I was around. I was at the kickbacks. Okay, I was there. I've heard the stories. Guess what? I would never go around doing. I would never go around doing saying like, "Oh, I also did that," because I was just around, right? And that's Maul. He was a dude that was around. He's never made a whole album by himself, right? He's not a rapper. Remember, Maul is not a rapper. Maul is a guy that was around, okay? And the reason why you could see it now is because he's a dumb person. He's a dumb person, okay? Just in general. And at this point, if you are listening to Maul talking, you're like, yeah, you're a dummy. It is what it is. And I know you can't bully people, and that's not bullying. That's just a fact, unfortunately. And we're in a time right now where facts are facts. All right. Maul is a terrible podcaster because he is dumb. That is why. Okay. Half the people on the Joe Budden podcast are bad podcasters because they're idiots. That's like what it is. Okay. And the reason they don't like Melissa Ford, the reason they don't like what's his name now on the new podcast where he was arguing with Flip the other day. Uh uh, you know, damn, what's his name? He used to be. You know what's funny about this guy? He used to be on TV. Um. Uh. Damn. What's this guy's name? Joe Flip Joe Budden podcast. What is this guy's name? Lamont Hill. Mark Lamont Hill. Mark Lamont Hill's an interesting guy. I mean, we could go into him too, but Mark Lamont Hill's an interesting person because I literally used to see him on TV and then like stop seeing him. I guess I don't, I didn't really follow him on YouTube. I was too young, I guess, to even know where he went. But that's so funny to me that I used to literally see him in a suit on TV. I'll never forget that. And now seeing him do this is hilarious. He must be getting paid a lot, but he Flip I'm talking about are he is a OVO supporter, right? Like Maul. These OVO supporters, the common denominator is that they are dumb. Like that is what it is. Please, like and there is no. Show me a OVO fan who still believes in this lawsuit and is a smart person. You know why? Because the only reason you can believe that Drake will eventually win this lawsuit is because you're a dumb person. That's why. There is nothing else going on, right? So anyone's still arguing for OVO or anyone's still arguing for or not even arguing, just being like, nah, this lawsuit isn't done. Drake is, still alive and he's still gonna do this and that. It's because uh, well, I was low that whole time. Wow. It's because you're dumb. You're not a smart person. That's what it is. OVO fans can't they don't they, I don't know. They want something to believe in. You got to remember, stupid people want something to believe in. Because if you put a stupid person out in the wild and say, "Hey, go," you put him in the middle of the woods. Okay, take an OVO fan, put him in the middle of the woods. He won't know what to do. Okay, he will die in those woods because he's a dumb person. Smart people have the ability to be on their own, calculate things on their own, without anybody's help, without the internet also agreeing with them, without anyone telling them what to do or where to go. Smart people can see things on their own and make up their own assumptions. They don't need Drake to tell them what to do. They don't need to argue every time Drake drops something that is the greatest thing, even though we can all hear the music is getting worse as he gets older. They don't need that, right? Smart people don't. Smart people can do things on their own. Okay, they can say things on their own. They don't constantly defend something that's clearly going down the drain. All right, like there's a saying like the captain goes down with his ship, right? Do you know why the captain go down with his ship? It's not because he's stupid. It's because he is a smart person that is at the helm of whatever he's doing. Okay, a a dumb person goes down with a ship that he knew was going down already, and everyone was yelling at him, but he refuses to acknowledge it just because he doesn't understand what's happening, or he doesn't want to. I do think Maul and these people know the ship is going down, but I think they want to defend it because it's their ship or something, but yet they're not at the helm. Drake is at the helm, and Drake knew that the ship was going down a long time ago. Did he say, "Hey guys, this lawsuit's kind of bullshit"? No, he never says anything. But these people are the idiots still on the ship. Drake isn't being like, "Hey guys, let's stop." Just to let you, he doesn't talk to his fans like that. He just does these innuendos and these little things where he like hates on people and no one knows anything. What's funny? If you look at Drake, you look at Nicki Minaj, and you look at uh what's his name? Mixtape God. He was good. Lil Wayne. If you look at Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Lil, what do they all have in common? They're all taking L after L after L, and they're all the same personality type. Okay, and Rick Ross is a little bit like that too, right? Nicki Minaj, Drake, Rick Ross, Lil Wayne. Okay, I'm doing five. No, let me think of somebody else in that camp. Who else is in that camp that's kind of taking an L right now? But I can't think of anybody. But specifically Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Lil Wayne. They're taking L after L. And they all have the same personality type, where they all have fans that are on the ship with them and have been on the ship and refuse to get off even though it's going down. And they're at the helm and they refuse to turn around and say, get off. They refuse to turn around and acknowledge the weirdness that they've been doing and the bullshit that they've been doing. Right? Lil Wayne refuses to acknowledge his L on doing the halftime show. He refuses to acknowledge that his music has gone down. He refuses to acknowledge that his shows are terrible. Okay. And if you ever see him in interviews, he hates talking. These people, even Nicki Minaj, they hate being genuine. Drake hates being genuine. He will never tell the people on his ship that it's going down. He'll just let everyone die with it. And that's what Maul and a lot of these people on Twitter are doing. This is a terrible, terrible analogy. But you guys gotta get what I'm saying. They he will not be honest. He will never do an honest interview. Drake, Nicki Minaj too. Lil Wayne has in the past, but as he gotten older, he's gotten much worse. These people will never do honest interviews. They will never be themselves because if they do become themselves, I have to get this point out quick. My camera is running out of time. If they do become themselves or they say something just for themselves or that's true to themselves, people will stop following because in real life, I have a secret. I have a suspicion that they're losers and that they're actually very insecure. That's what I think. I think Drake in real life, if he was just to speak candidly and do a real interview about like, hey Drake, what do you think about that huge loss you took in the beef versus Kendrick? Like, no one will ever just ask him that. And if they do, it will be a already you know a prerequisite. What am I thinking of? It'll already be, he'll know the questions coming up, or he'll know the interviewer will go soft on him, and he'll say some BS answer. These people, right at the very, very top, and what's her name's like that too a little bit. Katy Perry. Okay, these people at the like top of not rap, of not like hip hop, of like pop, right? In particular, these pop people at the top of pop music, because Drake is a pop star. Don't get that wrong. They won't be honest, and it's very odd. And I don't know how to go into it more because I don't know. But yeah, yeah. All right, well, yeah, that was kind of it. Let me think. Yeah, wow, that was the ending to that. Yeah, that's it. Tron Ares, Drake, whatever the hell else I talked about, the Riyadh Comedy Festival. And yeah, thanks for listening.